Hi there, this is Jim Richter and welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel typically focuses on rock and blues mandolin, but I'm also a bluegrass banjoist and I've been in a banjo mode here recently. I have this wonderful banjo I got earlier this year. It's a 1929 Gibson Royal P-T. It's an original flathead, lightweight flathead, high profile. FON, factory order number, is 9242-9. And it is in the same batch as Ben Eldridge's. It's actually 5 away from Ben's that he played with the Seldom Seen. So Ben's a hero of mine. I feel just very fortunate to own this banjo. The tune that I'm going to do today is the New 5 Cents. And this is a fiddle tune that I first learned off the Climbing the Walls album, Mike Compton and David Greer. I learned this on mandolin 25 years ago. And it's one of my favorite fiddle tunes to play when someone asks me to call out a fiddle tune. And I decided the other day to work it up in melodic style for banjo in the key of D without capoing or anything like that. Tablature is available on my Patreon site, which is patreon.com/Jim Richter. It's a free for everybody. I'm making this free for everyone. I generally do that with my banjo tablatures because these tend to be kind of one-offs. The focus of this tune was really to arrange it in melodic style, which means not typical Scruggs 3-finger, which it's usually played out of like a pentatonic scale, major pentatonic scale, or a chord, but actually using what would truly be melodic phrases or notes that would fall sequentially within the major scale. And the other thing that I like doing is making sure that there is space to these old-time fiddle tunes, that I don't feel obligated to roll all the way through there, which means that there's breath and I'm able to capture the lilt that you would hear in the traditional tune. And that's one of the things that you'll notice in the arrangement is that there are maybe 2 measures in the entire arrangement that it's a series of 16th notes. It's in 2/4 time, but a couple measures that are just sequential 16th notes filling up the measure. Most of the time what you're finding are quarter notes, quarter note, series of 8th notes, then a quarter note. And that to me is what really captures the flavor of the tune. So what I will do is I'll play through it at regular tempo, and then I will play it at a slower tempo. And the higher tempo is generally like probably about the speed that I would play it on mandolin. let's talk a little bit about the B part. If there's a hard part to the tune, I think it's in the B part, especially starting at measure 13. If we look at the beginning of the B part, it starts with a backwards roll that starts in the previous measure. So D, B. So you've got middle, index, then thumb, thumb. So A, F sharp, second fret of G, fourth fret of D. So practice that over and over again. It's not necessarily intuitive, but what it does is it really does capture the rhythmic feel of the tune. If we look at measures 13 through 15, we've got so if we look at measure 14, towards the very end, you'll see a run that starts on G. But what it's going to do, it's really kind of a mode of D. It's going to start on the G. So it's following up the D scale, but it's rocking back and forth. The A is pretty much holding down, except an exception at the beginning, it's holding down the bottom 3 notes of an A played here at the 7th fret. 7th fret D, which is A, 6th fret G, which is C sharp, E, 5th fret of the B. So you got, so it starts out with just holding down the bottom 2 notes. But once we play that D, then we add in the E. This is a very common fiddle convention. I play it a lot on the mandolin. You hear fiddlers doing it. It's a great riff to have handy to play the 5 chord, which in this case is A in the key of D. And then it ends with that backwards roll, which should be very familiar to what you play earlier. So this is a hard one because you start out middle, index, thumb, and then that is the index playing, at least that's the way I play it, the index playing the D string. And then that last note, that D note, which is played right on the beat, the second beat, is played with your thumb. That's why you wouldn't double thumb it, because you've got that, that open D string that you need to play. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's not quite a lesson, but as you can tell, I just love playing the banjo, and whenever I can share something, I try to do that. You can learn more about me at patreon.com /Jim Richter for all my banjo, mandolin tablatures. You can also learn more about me at jimrichter.com. Thanks.